Greetings and welcome to our next video review in the 2020 Cohiba video review series. Today I'm going to look at a special release Cohiba cigar. It's the 2003 Reserva Cohiba Pirámides. This is what it looks like. It was the first Reserva release, and what was paradoxical about it was that it wasn't just one vitola within a marker like every subsequent Reserva and Grand Reserva release has been. I'll read for you a little bit of information from Alex Groom at Cuban Cigar website in regards to the Reserva and the Grand Reserva program. In 2003, Habanos SA introduced the Reserva program, in English Reserve. This series compromises of regular production of vitolas from the premium brands. The cigars are made from specially selected tobacco aged in bales for a minimum of 3 years before rolling. The release generally mentions the year of the harvest in its name. The cigars have a special silver and black Reserva band and are packaged in numbered black lacquered Boite nature boxes of 20 cigars. 5,000 units are released. Since 2012, Reserve series cigars have been released every second year, alternating with the Grand Reserve series. Now, Alex has just added an anecdote to his writing on this topic. He says, the marketing and accompanying literature for Reserva cigars always states that the tobacco is aged for 3 years before rolling, while the Grand Reserva cigars state 5 years. Both releases will also list the year of the harvest that the tobacco comes from, which is always 5 years prior to the release of the cigars. Why Reserve cigars aged 3 years in the same time Grand Reserve cigars aged 5 is not entirely clear. Cuba being Cuba, maybe. One thing I can tell you about this release is it's a standard Pirámides size. So it's 52 ring gauge by 156 millimeters in length. If you compare the Cohiba Pirámides Extra, and I'm going to smoke that next in my next video review, that is a little bit bigger. If you could just see that, if I can line them up properly for you. That's 54 by ring gauge by 160. Why that is, why that's bigger, I'm not sure. I might discuss it in that video review. But this is a standard 52 ring gauge by 156 millimeters in length, which is around the 6-inch mark from the top of my head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Calibri V cutter. These are very heavy in the hand, but they do a great cut. And I'm going to show you why after I cut it. It just takes off, to me, the perfect amount of tobacco at the end, while keeping it very comfortable in the mouth. You can see that. The cold draw is really very, very easy to tell that it's got quality tobacco on this from the cold draw. It's like a quality cedar and refined hay. Lovely, can't wait to light this up. I'm going to pause the video there, and I'm going to light it up, and I'll come back and discuss some more on this cigar in the first third. Gone ahead and lit it up, and very first puffs, it's a quality refined cigar. Certainly there are notes of cream and cedar that was different to any of the other cigars that I've had in this video review series thus far. Yes, there was that refined hay grass that Cohiba is infamous for, and also a touch of mocha coffee, milk coffee, just a touch of it. But the main flavors would have to be the grass hay, the cedar, and the creaminess. The draw on this is very good. There's some nice resistance to it. To me, the leaves are really well packed in here. Nice and firm. It's obviously it's going to take a while to smoke through. Just that cedar and creaminess is just wondrous. It's really nice. I'm going to read some more about this release for you from Cuban Cigar website. And I've got to thank Alex Green for these notes. So these are his notes. So bear with me. I'll read it out for you. The first release in the Reserve series of cigars, the 2002 Cohiba Selection, is unique in that it contains a range of cigars rather than a single vitola. 6 Corona Especiales, 4 Esplendidos, 8 Pirámides, which is the cigar I'm smoking now, 6 Robustos, and 6 Meaty Coronas. Meaty Coronas are slightly smaller Coronas Especiales by about 10 millimeters, or about 2/5 of an inch. So they're 38 ring gauge by 142 millimeters in length, or 5 5/8 inches, and they came out for this release, these Meaty Corona cigar. The cigars wear the standard band D along with the Reserva second band. The varnished Boite or Boit Nature box also has a small compartment with a humidification device. Now Alex has written a small anecdote here. He says 2 batches of these cigars were produced. The first batch of the boxes have 2002 codes. The latter batch with 2003 codes appears to have been much larger and is considered by aficionados to be of substantially lower quality. Okay, well, in regards to this cigar, I've got to thank Trevor Leask, founder of Cuban Cigar website, because he gave it to me. Thank you, Trevor, again. Whether this was a 2002, 2003, I'm sorry, I can't say. I don't have the record of the initial box code, but I can tell you that the cigar is smoking wondrously. And if I was to compare it to the Cohiba Pirámides Extras that I've enjoyed the last 5, 6, 7 years since that came out in 2012, 2013, very different. Very different. I've never really had a Cohiba Pirámides Extra like this. And I guess the main difference, off the top of my head, because it's been a while since I've had that Cohiba Gran Reserva Cosecha 2003 Siglo 6, which, I humbly admit, would have to be the best cigar I've ever smoked, and may remain so. That was certainly much sweeter in terms of its honey, and it's more creamy. There was, the touch of that twang, that citrus twang to it. Just amazing cigar. This is similarly refined. But it hasn't got that sweetness, which is fine. It's got a beautiful element of that refined hay and grass, the cedar there, and the creamy texture. I'm loving it. I really am. I'm going to leave it there and come back into the middle third and discuss this cigar more. See if it changes profile in that time. So coming into the middle third, and the flavours are much the same. That refined hay, grass, quality cedar, creamy texture is all there. Not really any sort of honey sweetness. There is a touch of coffee, mocha coffee. Perhaps a hint or two of vanilla bean. But yeah, fairly consistent. It has picked up just a touch, not much in intensity. It's been a dream to smoke. And it's even more pleasurable to retrohale. And if you follow my reviews, I'm not one to retrohale that often, but I'm more than happy to do it when it's like that. That is a dream to retrohale. That is a dream. That is beautiful. Really, really nice. Wonderful. It's really, really, really nice to retrohale this cigar. Very easy to retrohale. Like I mentioned before, no way in the world is that smoking like any Cohiba Pirámides Extra that I've ever had. If I was to compare this special release to the Linea Classica or the Linea 1492, certainly much closer to a Linea 1492 cigar, which I've always found to be more of the quintessential Cohiba grass hay, have those notes in it. The Cohiba Pirámides Extra is certainly a stronger Linea Classica type cigar, where there's certainly stronger notes of mocha coffee in it. Perhaps at times earthiness. Yeah, I've always found it to be much stronger and much more inclined to give off buttery texture or buttery notes to it. This has none of that. This is much more creamy. So yeah, it's very different to Cohiba Pirámides Extra. If you ever come across this cigar, if you've got this cigar in your humidor and you're waiting to smoke it, I'd say that's what the difference is. Yeah, it's a mystery to me why Cohiba or Habanos SA and the Cohiba marker, when they released the Cohiba Pirámides Extra, why they made to make it slightly bigger and a unique size. Perhaps I can talk more about it when I do a review on that in the next video review that I do. But in the meantime, I'm going to leave it there and come back and discuss the cigar more when I come into the final third. Well into the middle, well, the end third, I should say, the final third. And it's just a quality cigar, really, from beginning to end. In terms of harshness, it's just it's picked up a little bit in the refined grass hay and the cedar, but in regards to the retrohale, I'll just take off those bands so they're out of the way. Thankfully for a Pirámides cigar, bands are easy to slide off. Still a pleasure to retrohale. Very easy to retrohale. Very easy. It's just wonderful. It's been a wonderful cigar overall. Really glad to have had the opportunity. Thank you again, Trevor, for this cigar. I hope you've enjoyed this review. I look forward to the next review, which will be the Cohiba Pirámides Extra, and comparing that cigar to the differences, possible similarities to this cigar. Until next time, happy smoking.